Ladies, takeover season is upon us. That just reminded me when I was younger and I would like go ride the waves with my stepdad in the ocean. We would literally I don't know why this was like such a thing, but we would look out at the ocean to find like the next good wave and we would say, I can see it upon the horizon. So I don't know. That just reminded me of that. But takeover season is here. It is upon the horizon. And I just need to preface with the fact that when I say takeover season, I'm not really talking about you having this crazy sold out launch. And I'm not talking about this new strategy, content calendar, tactical shift, whatever you want to declare this in your business. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm actually talking about the season where you finally respect yourself enough to go bigger, to do it bigger, to take up more space, and to tell the raw and the realest stories that you've had locked up inside of you, and to walk around, AKA like post. I don't mean like actually walk around, but well, yeah, walk around too, but to post with this attitude of, I know my shit. I'm a freaking baddie and I am good as hell at what I do. This is literally like takeover season is the season where you stop overthinking everything and instead you become this overflow of insanely powerful content ideas, insanely powerful ideas, period. Like you can't even keep up in takeover season. You just have so many juicy, good ideas. And every single post that you create, it hits and you feel proud of all of it. You're like, damn, I did that again. And as a byproduct of that feeling, of that identity, your social media engagement actually freaking skyrockets. You get more views, you get more likes, you get more comments, more shares, more saves. And that exists for you. Like that becomes your new reality. And included in that, you're getting DMs, direct messages from women that you don't know personally. Like you didn't even have to be in the same room as them, but they're witnessing you in your social media and they're DMing you like saying, I would love to work with you, asking about your world, asking about your offers, asking how and where you could help them. And so you actually start to feel this momentum from your social media. Your social media starts doing the work for you and you feel like you're becoming known. That is takeover season. So welcome to takeover motherfreaking season, which is actually, ironically, an inside out game. And I don't know how to say that other than that. Here is what I am seeing happening with most women wanting to be leaders in this space right now. They are posting, they're showing up, they're doing all the things, and they're not actually taking over anything. They're not becoming known. They're not building a fierce reputation. They're not getting DMs from dream clients. Like they have to do outreach or they have to host sales calls or they have to have conversion events. Like it's not just happening from content alone. And so they think to themselves, social media is too hard for me. I need a better strategy. Maybe it's my hooks, maybe a different formula, maybe a better framework. And that is not it. It's actually easier than that. But for some people, it's not. It's actually, this can be challenging for a lot of people. The problem, the number one problem is that they haven't done the inner work yet. And you might be listening to this and be like, okay, I've done the inner work. And I'm telling you, no, you haven't. I'm not talking about some cute, fluffy, unicorn, happy cottontail inner work. Cottontail? I don't know. Like the rabbits. I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't know, is it Easter almost? I think it is. Basically, these women, I can tell from their content that they have not asked themselves, who have I been lately? Who have I been in this last month? Who have I been in this last week? And where do I need to take it up 10 more notches? They're not observing themselves. In fact, they're observing everyone else except themselves. And I'm not talking about in your content yet. The thing is like I watch women, they try to take up space in their content and they haven't even taken up space in their own life. I am talking about in your life. Because the thing that most people do not understand about content alone is that when you are creating a reputation from your social media, the posts that build a reputation for you of this well-known, well-respected leader, that doesn't come from your fucking strategy. Okay? It doesn't come from your fucking framework or your template. It comes from the way that you have the ability, the skill set, the willingness to tell specific stories about your heart, about where you have navigated something or what you're currently navigating. And because you are willing to expose that part of you and pull back the curtain, you're then seen as a baddie, like an actual leader, because you don't hold back on telling it like it is from your own perspective. But in order to have perspective, gosh, this is so important. You don't get perspective just because you've been through things in life. And I'm here to tell you, every single person has been through something in life. Every single person. Like, I'm not going to sit here and have this comparison of, oh, it's been harder for you over here or harder for me over there. Every single person has been through something. But in order to have perspective on that something, you actually have to contemplate shit in your life. You cannot shove it under the rug. You cannot hold back in the dialogue with your inner critic or your own heart and your spirit and your soul. You have to actually speak to yourself. And this is shadow work. This is ugly. This is not fun. This is uncomfortable. And most women do not do that. They don't want to. They're too busy trying to figure out what to post so that they never stop to process what's actually happening in their lives. And then they wonder why no one is liking their content, or like, why aren't people watching my stories? Like, how do I get my story views up? Bro, you haven't even, don't get me started. You haven't even opened yourself up to that possibility. You want to be seen, but you're not letting yourself be seen. Your content is surface level AF. It is generic and it looks like everyone else's. You don't stand out because you're not being you. You're not actually being real. And it's not coming from a place of depth. It's coming from a place of avoidance. And you think it's because, like, oh, well, I don't want to overshare and like that has nothing to do with my business. Bullshit. All I hear when you say that, all I hear when you are talking like that is, I'm not brave enough yet. We can work on that though. So let me just give you an example. I recently created a post about, the hook is like, I'm back on my bullshit after 2 years of feeling sorry for myself. And what I mean by that is I'm back in the gym. I'm back on my health and fitness segment of my life. And in this post, I made the conscious decision to unapologetically take up space with sharing about how I felt sorry for myself for the last 2 years. And you know what? Most people would say, I've felt sorry for myself for the last 2 years, and they would apologize for that. And I didn't. I'm not apologizing for that. I know what's real. I had a conversation with myself. I understand what my life lessons are. I always am thinking about those. And the next thing is that post didn't come from a strategy. It didn't come from a framework. I didn't follow a template. I didn't ask ChatGPT to make me sound more audacious. That post came from me doing the real work off social media and healing myself. And then I decided I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I'm not going to coddle myself. I'm going to keep it fucking real. And that is wisdom. We all have that within us, by the way. Some of us choose not to use it. We all have it. I created that post from this deep sense of knowing who the fuck I am. And let me just pause and say, like, knowing who the F you are doesn't actually mean what you think it means. I think people think like, oh, I know who the F I am. That makes me a baddie. That makes me powerful. Like, you can't cross me. I used to actually think that way. That's not what that means, by the way. Knowing who the fuck you are does not mean you have all the answers. It doesn't mean you've even arrived anywhere in life. It means that you understand that you are a spirit inside of a body experiencing life school, earth school, whatever you want to call it, where life and the earth and the universe and whatever else you want to, God, source, anything, quite literally hands you lesson after lesson after lesson. And from there, you have two choices. Okay. When you get served a lesson, you can choose to repeat the behavior. You can react to the lesson, if you will. Repeat the behavior that served you that lesson in the first place. And then guess what's going to happen? You're going to get that same lesson time and time again because you didn't freaking learn. Or you can decide to learn. You can learn by making changes, which is always uncomfortable. And when you become the person who learns and makes changes, when you are able to recognize patterns and quickly interrupt patterns that don't serve you, then you can live to talk about it. Then when you live to talk about it, you become a leader. You are perceived as a leader. And it's not, you cannot fake that. You can't. It is then and only then. And this is where I get so heated. I get so riled up because I'm like in this industry with all these businesswomen, all these social media gurus and coaches talking about making money from social media. And I've witnessed at this point in my career, so many women, they see success, and success to them is like making a lot of money. And then they burn out. And what happens from there, they're not doing as well. So they burn their shit to the ground. They give up. Whereas this approach is, this is lifestyle. This is like, you could sell anything. You could pivot. You could do whatever you want. But people are always going to see you as a leader. Because why? Because you see yourself as a leader. You respect yourself enough to do the work and then to talk about it. Leadership is not about having it all figured out. I'm going to say that one more time. Leadership is not about having it all figured out. Leadership. I should actually Google what this means. If I was able to Google in this moment, I would do that, but I can't. Leadership is about, in my own words, willing to, in this sense, process your life out loud. It's like willing to say the things that no one else is saying because they're too busy pretending that they don't struggle, or they're too busy acting like they have their shit together. And this is, again, there's a difference between like admitting your struggles and like asking your audience to hold you through it. That's not what I'm recommending. You hold yourself through shit, but you are able to take up space with the freaking truth, even when it's messy. And that is what Takeover Season is all about, baby. Like, I love Takeover Season. It's literally about becoming well-known, well-respected as a leader straight from your social media, straight from your content, not because you have this perfect strategy, like, oh, give me the content calendar. What should I say here? Like, how can I perfect my messaging? Fuck that. That can only happen once you're willing to do what I'm saying you need to be willing to do. When you're finally willing to be real. Okay, so I'm going to tell you actually how to do this, okay? Step 1, you got to stop being a little baby back bitch. Like, you absolutely have to do the inner work. You have to face yourself. No one is going to do this for you, by the way. No one's coming to save you. No one can do this for you. So the question is, who have you been in the last 10 days? Who have you been in the last 30 days? Let's just do 30 days. Who have you been? And where do you need to take it up 10 more notches? Like, could you create a post right there on real honesty? Here's who I've been in the last 30 days. And maybe you've been a beast. Great. Tell that story. But maybe you've fallen short. And then you can literally claim where you're going to take it up 10 notches. And I don't mean like, oh, I'm going to take it up 10 notches. The heat is on the oven. I don't know, I'm making this shit up. But like, tell us, what does that look like? What does taking it up 10 more notches look like to you? Not just in your content, but in your freaking life. Your content is a reflection and extension of the way that you live your life. And if your life is surface level, your content is going to be too, period. I cannot, women come into my world and they know that this is the way that I coach. So they're willing to meet me halfway in this. I have had women come to me though, and they're not ready for this. Like, I don't know where the disconnect happened, but they just want like plug and plays. And I'm like, yo, I'm not that coach. Like, I'm going to see you in ways that you don't maybe want to be seen yet. But some women, like the majority of the women that come to me, it's only been a couple that have been rubbed the wrong way by this. And again, I don't apologize for that. It just was a miscommunication, a misunderstanding. The majority of women that come to me, they eat this shit up because they're able to start paying attention to what they've been avoiding. And guess what happens when you do that? Guess what happens when you start to think about the conversations that you're not having with yourself? When you start to recognize the patterns that you've been refusing to interrupt, the truths that you've been shoving under the rug because it's easier to pretend that they don't exist. Guess what happens then? Their best content comes to life. And it comes from the things that they have been avoiding, that they are processing, that they're learning, and they create magical content. Every single post changes the world for the better. And every single post creates this magnetic, addictive storyline. People are lined up to come into my clients' worlds because of this. And you have to be, let's go into step 2. Let's make this step 2. You have to be willing to tell the stories from your heart, not your head, not a strategy, not anything else other than your freaking heart. The posts of mine that have built my reputation, and I feel like it's so funny, like I feel like I'm just getting better at this, and I've been doing this for years. But I think I've recently given myself the permission to do this even more, and it just feels so liberating. So the posts of mine that are building my reputation or have built my reputation have come from the way that I tell specific stories about what I've navigated or what I am navigating. These are not some generic, boring stories. I'm not being vague. I'm being specific as hell. Details, emotion, truth, even when I'm nervous about it. Even when I'm like, oof, this is going to let people into who I am, and that feels exposing a little bit, but it's also going to set me free. I actually was reading in my book this morning about how, like, when women experience grief, and that grief can come from many things. It doesn't just mean that they're experiencing grief because of death. It can come from many things. Like, grief can come from the fact that you aren't allowing yourself to be creative in your content. You can be grieving that. So when women experience grief, if they keep it bottled up, like if they don't use a creative outlet to express it, it makes them sick. Why do you think so many women on planet Earth have autoimmune diseases? Like the difference in men and women when it comes to autoimmunity is crazy. As women, we self-express with creativity. That is our feminine energy. That is literally our birthright to be creative. And if you bottle it up, especially when you're going through hard shit, especially when you're grieving something, if you bottle it up, it makes you sick. Disease is dis-ease. You are at dis-ease in your body. But when you are able to let go a little bit, let your hair down a little bit, like be unapologetically you for all the things that make you you, that's what makes you magnetic. And this is where it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter how aesthetic your shit is. When you tell stories that make you different, that's what makes you a leader. Your willingness to be real. All right, step 3, takeover season. You need to start walking around and posting with this, like truly with this attitude of like, oh my gosh, like I am good at what I do. I'm a baddie. I know my shit. Like my shit doesn't stink. Like I'm not talking about like be arrogant and cocky and unapproachable. That's not what I'm talking about. Like that's the other end of the spectrum. I'm talking about confidence, and the kind of confidence that actually comes from doing the inner work, from processing what's going on in your life, from learning your lessons. That builds confidence, for like confidence that doesn't apologize for taking up space and owning who you are, where you don't have to like soften shit and you don't feel like you have to hide the truth. You don't have to like beat around the bush. And when you show up with this energy, I'm telling you right now, get ready, because people are going to feel it. You're going to have people in your audience where you're like, I have no idea where you came from. And they're going to be commenting, they're going to be blowing up your shit. And you're going to be like, I've never even met this woman before. And this is another thing is like, there's 2 ways of growing your brand. There is social media and there is like networking, in which would be like getting physically in the rooms or like, going to events and stuff, hosting events. Like there's 2 different ways you could do this. You could do both as well. But the way that I choose, majority of my focus is in my social media. And a lot of people don't know how to tap into this skill, but then they do networking and that works for them. And I'm like, what if you could just translate who you are in the networking realm to who you are in your content? That's all it is. Where people actually feel your conviction, your certainty, your power, your realness. And because they feel that from you, they want to be in your world. But this is twofold. Because if you don't feel your own certainty, if you're questioning your own power, that's where step one is. Like, you actually have to do the work to, like, you got to believe in yourself, dude. Because if you don't believe in yourself, no one else is going to. You cannot expect people to, again, this is a metaphor kind of, but it's directly tied. Like, you want more views, you want more likes, you want more people in your IG stories, like, watching you, and you're not willing to even see yourself. You're not willing to even like yourself. This is truly the work that I do behind the scenes with my clients. And so here's what it actually looks like in practice is eventually in takeover season, you stop overthinking every single freaking post. Holy crap. The amount, and this is, again, like, I don't get frustrated with my clients who overthink shit. This is part of the work. But it will stop. Because when you are done overthinking everything, you're not like necessarily engineering something. You're not trying to create something out of thin air. You are expressing what is true for you. And you become this, like, it oozes out of your freaking pores that you have all these insanely powerful content ideas. Like, you have intuitive hits that drop into you and you're like, I should turn that into a post. I should talk about this. I should tell this story. All because you're finally paying attention to your life. And your life, every corner, every breath you take, every step however that goes. What was I saying? Oh, every corner of your life is full of content material. Everything. And when you approach your content that way, every single post is going to hit. You're going to feel proud as hell of your content. Because finally, you're not creating from this place of avoidance. You're creating from depth. And I already told you what's going to happen because of that. People are going to feel that you're different. Like, you are real. Like, I'm not seeing this type of content everywhere. This is like, you're a true leader and they want what you have. Not just your strategy. Like, I'm sure your strategy is great, but let's be real. You can find strategy on YouTube or Google or friggin' ChatGPT. And I mean, I actually feel like my strategy can't be found in those places, but at the same time, I'm humble enough to know, like, any content strategy is going to work. Truly, if you stick to it enough, like, it's going to work. But these people that are watching you and witnessing you and being real in your content, they're going to want more than just your strategy. They're going to want your presence. Like, they're going to feel like they get to be a part of your club. They get to be in the presence of your power, your certainty. And that is like their muse. Like, they're not here worshiping the ground you walk on. They're not that type of obsessed. They're obsessed in a way of, like, as soon as I get close to Chandler, like, I feel motivated. I feel like I want to run through a brick wall. She makes me feel powerful. She makes me remind me who the fuck I am. That is what takeover season is all about. You want them to feel that in your content first so that when they get behind the scenes, they get more of it. And you finally become this version of yourself who doesn't hold back anymore, who doesn't play small, who does not apologize for simply existing. And when you get to that point, it shows up in your social media. It shows up in your content without you even trying. Again, I don't know why I just get out of breath when I'm recording these episodes. Like, it just happens. But anyway, I'm excited about takeover season. I want you to know that takeover season is not about doing more at all. Like, it's about being more. It's about being more real, more raw, more willing to, again, process your life out loud in front of your audience and respecting yourself enough to take up space, to do it bigger, to tell stories that actually freaking matter. It's about knowing that you're experiencing life school, like I said, and then being willing to share those lessons from life school. We're all in life school. And takeover season has begun, which means the Takeover Mastermind is now open. And I am taking 10 women. There are 10 seats available inside of the Takeover Mastermind. And these women, if you are one of them, this is for you if you're ready to fucking take over the world with your mission. You want to make impact. You want to pull back the curtain on who the fuck you are because you know you are that bitch. This is 10 women who want to play big. They want to stop overthinking. They don't want to hide anymore. They want to become well-known, well-respected straight from the content that they post. So they get asked to be on podcasts. They get asked to speak on stages. Maybe they write a book. But most importantly, they bring other women into their world that they can touch and transform and change. And it all started from their own journey, from their willingness to do this. So if that is you and you're like, okay, I need this, then you know where to find me. I will drop the Takeover Mastermind is application only. And please only fill out the application if you're serious about this. It is not butterflies and rainbows inside of this space. You're going to be lit the F up in the best way possible. So if you're serious about joining the Takeover Mastermind, you can fill out the application in the show notes. It lives in my Instagram bio. But either way, whether or not you join the Takeover, I want you to remember the fact that you get one life. Like you are a beautiful person. You are a beautiful soul, and you get one life. And everything that you've gone through, everything that you're gonna go through, because it doesn't end, every pattern that you've recognized is a post. It's a story that could not only set you free, but change someone else's life. The thing that you're holding back on, like someone is waiting to hear from you. That's how serious you need to take this shit. If you could impact someone's life, like just one person from one post, would you do it? Would you do the inner work? Would you take over? Because the more, like when we talk about rich women, when we talk about wealthy people, not even just women, think about why are they wealthy? Why are they wealthy? And the answer is they are valuable AF. Notice I didn't say worthy, because we're all worthy. Okay, let's just get over that. They're valuable. They serve people. They add value in any sense. I mean, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're in the corporate world. Like think about climbing a corporate ladder. You climb a corporate ladder because you are valuable. You, as an entrepreneur, you make more money when you are valuable. And this is where this starts. First, you have to be valuable to yourself, and then you have to be valuable outwardly. That's why this is an inside-out game. So when you're ready to do this work, you can join the Takeover. In the meantime, listen to this episode as many times as you need to. I love you so much. I can't wait to see what you create. Let me know if you listened to this episode by sliding in my DMs, maybe sharing it to your stories. If you want to tag me, I can give you a little gift if you do that, by the way, a little free little goodie. Or at the end of the day, if you want to just leave a 5-star review, that literally makes me so happy and it keeps me doing what I'm doing in this show. I would love that so much. Have the best day ever. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I love you, and I will see you next week.